Hey guys, it's Saru, and I had the privilege to try out Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance thanks to the team over at Wizards of the Coast, as they sent me a copy to see what I think about the game. So, we're going to cover some of the cool things about the game, some of the not so cool and good things about the game, and whether or not it's worth purchasing right now. Alright guys, let's get right into it. So immediately you start by choosing your character, or class rather, and can start going into the trials, which pretty much just tells you what to do, how to play, and all that stuff. Normal tutorial based kind of things. Now I noticed that the team actually said a few times that the game is actually best played with a controller like PlayStation 5 or Xbox controller, and I didn't find that to be the case at all. While it did feel pretty, well, okay-ish, I guess, with the PlayStation 5 controller, it definitely felt alright with the keyboard and mouse regardless. Mind you, it did take some getting used to, because some of the camera work was a little funky. Immediately in the trials I realized how pretty the game was, similar to Godfall maybe, and the music reminded me of the band The Who for some reason. Unless they did do music for the game and I wasn't aware. In that case, very cool. I jumped into the game with a friend and noticed it did have some issues here and there when it came to connecting with him. When it came to 3 or 4 people, sometimes if I was already in a session and I already did a dungeon for example, it would not really work at all, where the player could see us but we could not see them, and they were not really in our party but we were in theirs for some reason, so we'd have to actually restart the session entirely to bring people together. However, it's still not as bad as the party issues in Chivalry 2, but that's neither here nor there. I also noticed that players cannot really be the same character, which I kinda guessed already, but I wasn't really too sure about it until I actually got into the game, I guess. I did note that many players complain about the stamina system, specifically with Wolfgar, and though I did feel that sentiment a little bit when I started leveling up, I really didn't feel that much more later on in the game once I got gear that helped with stamina regeneration and overall use of stamina, especially the passives that you can get for your staminas anyways. For me, it felt like maybe they were just kind of complaining because you're not a powerful character when you first started out. Now, one thing I did notice that while frames are very stable for the most part, this game and gameplay actually being at the highest settings possible, when you enter an elevator of sorts, your FPS drops massively temporarily, just through the time that you're actually in the elevator for some weird reason. The moment you activate a lever, your frames go down to 10, 15 FPS for some weird reason, but that's nothing a patch can't fix at least. Now, the boss fights were pretty engaging, fun, and exciting, and I admit they hit fucking hard, which isn't a complaint, let me get that straight, okay? It's a nice challenge for me and my friends that allowed me to learn other ways to work around the boss, not just be a glass cannon and DPS nonstop, but rather to look at my movements, see what works, what doesn't work, when to block, when to dodge. And although it didn't really help for a while, as you can see here, I did start to learn a little bit more about my character and how to move around him. Now, the stat gearing and movement system is pretty interesting. Coming from someone that's never really played Dungeons & Dragons, I know, gasp, you should. This was very interesting to me, but very reminiscent of maybe Gauntlet Dark Legacy from back in the day. I missed that game, but basically after clearing a dungeon, you go to this chest over here, which is in your little home base, I guess you can say, and unlock what you basically looted. From there, you can start equipping things and see what each one does. You have your armor, your attack levels, normal levels that you can upgrade with the upgrade system, and ranks, which ultimately, as I learned, you want to actually balance out. For example, a legendary rank 1 is not equivalent whatsoever to a legendary rank 5, so even though it's a legendary, you still need a balance of good ranking, good defense or attack modifiers and stuff like that. As well, it completely depends on where you're going, because you might want to actually keep some of this gear, considering that some bosses or something, you may be more effective against them if you use things like fire or ice or lightning. The feats were pretty interesting, which is more like passive for your characters, along with the moves that you can purchase based on gold you have, and it's not that hard to really get gold in the game, especially if you're just doing dungeons. It is a dungeon crawler after all, but it's not really a bad system whatsoever, and it's pretty simple even for the newest player. Now, playing with 3 players altogether was fun, but I admit the body blocking mechanic for the party isn't very fun. When it came to playing with more than 3 players, it was a little crazy, especially when you're me and you're trying to kill your friends off ledges simply by being in their way, hard when they try to jump, but let's not talk about that. But overall, though repetitive, it's been really fun, and like I said, it reminds me of games like Gauntlet Dark Legacy, which holds a dear place in my heart. The game is pretty fun, but it isn't without its faults, that's for sure, though nowadays, which game isn't? I mean, every game releases with some kind of issues, but it's nothing that can't be fixed with patches from the team. Also, the work they did on the cinematics of the game is absolutely gorgeous, and even movie-like even. Big props for that, as you really get into the story of the game and feel like you're actually truly a part of it. I definitely recommend this game if you're going to be playing with friends, but as a solo player, I don't really recommend it if I'm being honest. There's a lot of mechanics you don't get to do, like team skills, resurrections, and more, plus it's more fun with people around anyways. On one negative note, however, I didn't enjoy the fact that even though there's technically crossplay on this game between PC and Xbox, which to be completely honest, it's basically the same thing if you have a Windows system, like it's the same environment. PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 aren't included in that system, whereas PS4 and PS5 can actually play together through cross-gen, which is just a native thing anyways. So it's disappointing news when it's basically become almost a norm for crossplay in current times for gaming, but oh well. But overall, I did enjoy the game. A special thanks to the team over at Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance for sending me a copy of the game. I can't wait to see what else you guys have in store for the game in the future, and I'm actually really interested about it. I've been playing it quite often here with friends, but what do you guys think about this game? Have you played it so far, and if so, on what platform? And what do you think could actually be added to this game to make it much better? Let me know in the comments below and we'll talk about it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and click that adorable f***ing bell to know when I upload a brand new video. And don't forget to come join my Discord if you want to chat and hang out. Much love, and as always, till next time friends.